interesting part is that, apparently, within the last 24 hours, one of the more notorious organizations in the Ukrainian military, which uses all of these Nazi symbols that we're familiar with, right, apparently refused to fight. They simply told the government, we've had it, we're not going to die in great numbers any longer. In fact, there's a lot of evidence for large-scale surrenders at this point. And I think people giving up because they see no purpose, and even the most stalwart support ERS of the regime giving up, or at least refusing to fight, suggests that this may end more rapidly than even I thought it would, because the Russians are following up, they're moving towards the Dnieper River. And I think within the next 45 days or so, we're going to see them in command of Kyiv and virtually everything that is east of the Dnieper River. Now the question is, when do they cross and seize Odessa? Welcome in today's special coverage. We turn our lens to the volatile front lines where history is written in the echoes of gunfire. Guided by insights from former Colonel Douglas Macgregor, we're uncovering the strategic maneuvers and psychological warfare shaping this relentless conflict. The battlefields of Char Yar are not just about territory they're at. Testament to the cunning and resilience of those involved as we navigate through the complex web of military strategies and the harrowing tales of the battlefield, we'll explore how the landscape of war is constantly reshaped by both visible and invisible forces. Prepare to dive into a world where every move is critical and the stakes are immeasurably high. Join us as we first zoom into the heart of today's conflict zone at Char Ofar, where the intensity of the battles tells only part of the story, revealing the deep-seated strategies and human struggles hidden beneath the surface in the area surrounding Char Yar, where a narrow channel carves a dividing line through the terrain. Recent developments have seen the escalation of hostilities to a critical point. Russian forces numbering in the thousands have seized control of strategic positions just north of the village, covering approximately 15 square km in their latest push. This significant territorial gain is a part of a calculated strategy intensifying as Russian troops establish positions within residential zones, bringing the battle dangerously close to civilian areas. On the other front, a dynamic Ukrainian counteroffensive unfolds across the central sector, towards Char Yar, the area previously under a T standoff, now echoes with the roar of artillery, as Ukrainian forces deploy their units in a full-scale push. However, the conflict's intensity is matched by internal strife and tactical shifts. Notably, the right sector's 25th Airborne and the 67th Brigades have withdrawn from their forward positions by the channel. This sudden retreat was precipitated by a sharp decline in leadership trust as controversial allegations undermine the commander's authority, suggesting ties to Russian origins. The fallout was immediate. Elite Ukrainian forces crucial to the defense vacated their posts, leaving behind heavy equipment now in the hands of advancing Russian units, further complicating the day. General Sersky's attempt to redeploy the AAV units to reinforce this critical sector met with resistance. Initial reports suggest these troops hesitated, disobeying orders to advance across the channel amid fears of intensified conflict and psychological warfare tactics employed by the Russian side. This includes targeted messages and the threat of devastating Fab 150 bomb strikes designed to sow terror among the ranks. As the day progressed, the battlefield saw Russian forces not only consolidating their gains, but also doubling their controlled territory since morning, now threatening to envelop the channel area completely. The strategic implications are profound, as this expansion brings them closer to severing Ukrainian supply lines and encircling key defensive positions. This intense day of fighting at Char Yar illustrates the volatile nature of this conflict, where territorial gains are measured not only in kilometers but also in the psychological and operational impacts they impose on both forces engaged in this enduring struggle. In the unfolding theater of conflict around Char Yar, the dynamics have shifted dramatically. Ukrainian forces, feeling the pressure on strategic locations, are responding with robust counteroffensives. The spotlight falls on the intense skirmishes at Novomyva and Novhorka regions, vital for maintaining territorial integrity. Here, over 3,000 Ukrainian troops have engaged, contesting a swath of territory crucial to their defense strategy. Parallel to these heated exchanges, a significant development unfolds as Russian forces launch a major offensive on the strategic triangle of Amanki NTI of Yasno Broa. This key area, particularly the town of Net Island, has witnessed the bulk of today's assaults. The intense conflict here could potentially reshape the defense lines by the end of the day, with Russian troops aiming to disrupt Ukrainian control. Further north, the situation intensifies near Nova Mka, where Ukrainian forces counter With fierce determination, they are resolute in securing the eastern flank of this pivotal town from Russian advances pushing from Nova Bakhmova towards Aden, complicating the battlefield dynamics. Psychological operations have escalated, with Russian tactics reportedly undermining the morale within the ranks of Ukraine's right sector 67th Brigade. This psychological warfare has led to tangible outcomes, with over 200 soldiers from the brigade surrendering in the strategic triangle, revealing a disturbing picture of disillusionment and fatigue. One disheartened paratrooper from the 25th Airborne has voiced stark criticism, accusing higher command of deploying their units into direct danger zones, effectively treating them as cannon fodder. His harrowing description of the front lines as a meat grinder paints a grim reality of the conditions faced by troops tasked with holding critical positions. As we observe these brutal confrontations and the evolving tactics on both sides, the complex dance of warfare continues to unfold. Each maneuver and countermaneuver not only alters the physical battlefield, but also tests the resolve and morale of those caught in the crossfire. With each passing moment, the fog of war thickens, deepening the psychological and physical toll on the combatants. Up next, we will explore the broader implications of these tactics and their potential to shape the future trajectory of this conflict, drawing on the strategic insights of experts like former U.S. Colonel Douglas Macgregor. We understand that Russian tactics in this conflict extend far beyond conventional engagements. A surge in psychological operations has been a cornerstone of their strategy, employing measures designed to undermine the morale of Ukrainian forces. Recent intelligence intercepts reveal a chilling escalation in these tactics, with Russian forces broadcasting direct threats of severe bombings. One particular message starkly warns that failure to surrender will result in Fab 150 bombs being dropped, a type known for causing extensive damage and psychological shock. Such psychological offensives are not limited to threats of physical destruction. Over the past week, Russian units have intensified their use of psychological operations, reaching hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers through various channels. Each day, this relentless psychological pressure is crafted to sow doubt and fear, leveraging the uncertainty of warfare to break the will of opposing forces. As the mental resilience of Ukrainian soldiers is continuously tested by these harsh tactics, the battlefield becomes as much a contest of wills as it is of firepower and strategy. With the psyche of soldiers under relentless assault, we recognize that the conflict scars extend beyond the battlefield, affecting not just those in uniform, but also the broader civilian population. Next, we explore the profound implications of these warfare tactics on civilian life and morale, drawing upon insights from Mr. Colonel. We recognize that warfare transcends the battlefield, deeply affecting the psyche of the youngest civilians in Ukraine. There is a growing concern over intensified propaganda efforts that target children, framing the conflict as a heroic battle against monsters. Recent analysis of these educational tools reveal a stark transformation. There has been a 40% increase in military-themed content within primary education curriculums. Over the past year, this shift aims to embed a narrative of enmity from an early age, with textbooks and digital content painting the conflict in stark us versus them terms. The repercussions of such indoctrination are profound. Initiatives that once might have focused on reconciliation are now overshadowed by efforts to cultivate a generation that views the conflict as an integral part of their identity and heritage. As these young minds are shaped by narratives of conflict and heroism, critical questions emerge about the future. What does it mean for peace and reconciliation if a generation grows up entrenched in the ideology of war? This indoctrination not only questions the feasibility of future peace efforts, but also highlights the invisible casualties of war, the minds and hearts of the youngest. Up next, we explore how these deep-seated beliefs could challenge the path to reconciliation, and what might be done to mitigate these effects. Drawing upon insights from military analysts like Mr. Douglas Macgregor, we see that the impact of conflict extends beyond the battlefield. The psychological imprints in the indoctrination of youth are profound, with potential to shape futures far beyond the immediate conflicts. Our discussions today reveal the deep complexities of warfare, fought not only with weapons, but with the shaping of ideologies as we strive for peace. These insights remind us of the enduring effects of conflict on all aspects of society. Thank you for joining today's analysis. Stay informed and engaged as we navigate these challenging times, hoping for a future where peace is a sustained reality.